Hey guys, it's Edwin here, and today I'm going to talk about fear of the unknown and how it's keeping you stuck in life and even healing or keeping you stuck in that toxic relationship. Actually, one of the greatest fears you'll have in life is fear of the unknown. And of course, probably say fear of death, but of course, also fear of death is more of fear of the unknown. And you'll have this fear, especially when you are unhealed. You'll be having this fear of doing something new, and your mind will also feed you with countless evidence of why you should not do that or of why you should stay. And the most logical thing to do in life is actually if you are sitting on fire, is to get up because it's hurting you. But when you get used to it, when you get used to the fire, it will feel like the most comfortable place to be for you to be. And one thing about the mind is it feels safe and secure in predictable environments. Even if the environment is chaotic, it knows what it's expecting in that environment. Actually, or realistically speaking, when life is predictable, we experience less stress and anxiety as compared to when we don't know what to expect. That's why it's completely understandable to feel afraid of the unknown and feel stuck in that abusive relationship or even in your healing journey. And it can be so difficult to even take that leap of faith and make a lasting change in your life, especially when you're not sure of what the future holds. You're not sure of what your life will look like after healing or what your life will look like after leaving that abusive relationship. And that's why this fear of the unknown is what keeps you stuck in that toxic relationship because you are fearful of what to expect once you leave the relationship. In an abusive relationship, you are deeply unhappy, you are deeply in pain, and you clearly know that this relationship is not going to work. But this fear of the unknown is crippling you and feeding you with worst case scenarios of the terrible things that will happen in your life if you leave. This can be something like ending up alone, falling for another toxic partner, going broke, or living in the streets, isolation, and many other terrible things. So your abusive partner will have also watered those fears with their constant threats of ruining your life or that you'll never find someone else. So the mind is feeling a bit of stability by staying in that abusive relationship. At least it knows what it will expect from this partner. Even if the partner is abusive, the mind knows like, yeah, they'll call me names, they'll do this, but I know them. So the fact that the mind knows the abuse, knows the abusive ways, gives it some sense of safety in quotes and assurance. You know they will call you names, lie to you, gaslight you, cheat on you, intimidate you, and do all those terrible things to you. So the mind clings to the fact that at least it knows these and it can live with it as it has lived with it for the past say 10, 20, or 30 years or even or ever since you were a child. So the familiarity of the abuse and staying looks like an easy thing to do than maneuvering a world full of monsters and quotes and scary angels. And it can be so daunting and overwhelming to even think about the work you have to do or the things you have to do once you leave the relationship. So once you leave the relationship, it can be scary to think about all those things you have to do. So the mind is like, I at least with this one, I know it's anxious and hurtful, but I know it. So it's safe in quotes. So your mind is used to these abusive and chaotic relationships to the point that it doesn't even want you to see the endless possibilities your life has once you leave the relationship. You know about them, but your mind is like, nah, 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 we don't really want to try those scary places. So the mind will also provide you with bits of evidence from the past of your traumatic childhood and the other strings of unhealthy relationships out there. It will tell you something like the last time you left, you ended up in another abusive relationship. So what's the point? This is much better. So it will reinforce this fear of the unknown by telling you that even if you leave, you will still end up in the same cycle as you've had in the past. So it's better to just hold on to this known, hold on to this abusive partner who you now fully know, than face a disappointing world which you don't even know of or which will give you other terrible circumstances. So this stops you from even thinking about life and what lies beyond the abusive relationship, beyond abuse. The other thing about this fear is, so say you've left the relationship or you've been discarded, it's the same fear which will stop you from seeking help to resolve those inner demons in quotes, or to process those unhealed wounds. You might think to yourself that you've moved on now, you are out of the relationship, and you've overcome your fears, but then you find yourself being constantly triggered or learning and learning about abuse. So you have changed the environment, which is the relationship, but you are still carrying the same mindset, the same container, the same fear of the unknown. Like you don't know what life would look like for you if you heal. So the mind is like, nah, let's just remain with these problems. So you're afraid of dealing with those problems on an inner level because you feel that they've become part of you. So in a twisted kind of way, the mind feels safe with emotional pain, the anxiety, the panic attacks, or those negative waves of emotion, because those are the things that they feel familiar to the mind. It's never known peace, contentment, calmness, and even healthy relationships. They are the unknown. So the healthy things to the mind are now unknown. And the more they are unknown, they are scary in quotes. So the mind will prefer walking that path of familiarity, as it guarantees some level of safety, and it even has great experience of handling them, great experience of coping with them. It doesn't have great experience of coping with a life where you are a free bird. So because of this fear of the unknown, the mind will prefer this path of blaming your ex or all those hurt people from the past who've hurt you, because it doesn't want you to move beyond this pain, to move beyond these problems. It doesn't want you to take full responsibility of your life and delve into the world of the unknown and healing, which will lead you to inner peace. Something you don't even know what it looks like or feel like. So healing now is the unknown to the mind. So the mind will feed you with circumstances which wants you to be stuck in this state of being unhealed. Hope that makes sense. The mind loves familiarity. Even if that familiar is scary or hurtful to you, to the mind, it's not that scary because it's used to it. So when all your life you've been used to surviving and coping with life, you may have seen pain and more pain in all your relationships. So when you're told that it's possible to process all those past things, like let's say if I told you, hey, it's possible to heal even in 2 months, you will say that, nah, it's not possible. I've been carrying these problems and these problems are part of me. You might even say something like, I'm such a mess, I have a lot of problems. That's because your mind is used to those problems. That it feels that that's how life is supposed to be. You've been having problems for 40 years, 30 years. So if I told you like, nah, it's possible to heal, the mind will be like, nah, because of that fear of the unknown. The mind is clinging to what it has known, what it knows best, even if it's painful. So because of this fear and the mind loving familiarity, it will feed you with these thoughts, and the most common words are something like, which I've heard, let me first concentrate on my work, I don't need healing now, or I don't even have time in my schedule for therapy or for this program, or I'm such a mess, I will never really heal, or let me just continue studying or reading about your articles or watching your videos, I'm not ready to face those inner demons. That's just the mind telling you that, hey, healing is not for us, let's just stick with these problems. But at the same time, there's a part of you which really wants to heal. That's why you might have booked that call or you might have read that article, because there's a little spark in you which wants to heal. So your mind takes you back and keeps you stuck with what it knows. It just knows pain. And to the mind, peace, and even the thought of peace is quite scary. So to the present you, your present identity, peace and inner peace and healthy relationships are quite scary because you've never known them or you've never seen them. You've just had glimpses. That's why fear of the unknown will keep you stuck in your healing journey, and it will also keep you stuck in a toxic relationship. In conclusion, the greatest deterrent to your healing is not actually something else. It's not actually the narcissist or the society. It's your mind in your current perspective. Because it's used to pain to the point that it can see a life with less stress, less anxiety, freedom, or inner peace as a place of fear, as a scary place. A life where you are responsible for yourself. A life where you take full control of your life without letting outer circumstances define you. A life where you don't see the need of labels. A life where you're not anchored in the past. Like you're just this free bird. Like being a free bird, you're not anchored to anything. Of course, it's scary. Like you have to make your own decisions. And when we talk about your mind here, it's more about all those things you've collected, all those things you've accumulated, all those beliefs you've accumulated because of your past traumatic experiences, because of your past painful experiences, or because of your upbringing. So those beliefs of you'll never be good enough, you are too broken, someone like you can never really heal, or just anything or any belief which really fights to keep you stuck in that familiar and safe environment of misery and pain. So consciously, of course, you want to be happy. That's why you watch these videos or you even read that article. Like you want to be at peace and not to experience this pain much longer. But your subconscious mind is like, well, you don't really know what's out there. Let me just pull you back in here because at least you know how to deal with this. That's why when you think so much about taking that step to going for therapy or healing, it may not serve you that much. And at times you just have to really jump into that therapy or that healing program without really putting it into too much thought because your thoughts are already distorted by your beliefs. Your beliefs drive your thoughts. And if your beliefs are in the lines of, I will never heal, of course, your thoughts will be, it's not possible to heal. And then your actions will be, let me just avoid all these other things and just read about them. So you will think once you are committed to that healing program or once you are progressing in your healing journey, you will think once you've quieted some of your negative beliefs, you are not that broken. Your mind and your past experiences are just feeding you with lies because those are the things they've known ever since you were a kid. Heal to jump into the world of the unknown world of bliss, freedom, and happiness. The fact that you are even watching this means that there's a part of you that wants it, and it has already tasted that glimpse of that joy. So just continue on that path. And if you'd like any help without even thinking about it, of course, we are always there. You can book a call with me and I'll help you in this journey. It's just about you jumping into the deep end and really investing in yourself. Don't think about it. When you think, you'll still get stuck. But when you take action, you'll move forward. Hope you found that informative, guys. Until next time, have a nice weekend.